Gentlemen, let me ask you something. Have you ever put in all the effort down there, done everything you thought was right, yet she doesn't quite reach that explosive peak you were hoping for? You might be doing the movements, you might be spending ages at it, but somehow she goes from "that's nice" to, well, nothing much changes. Here's the thing, it's not about working harder, it's about one specific method that takes her from pleasant sensations to full-body, trembling, mind-blowing orgasms that'll have her looking at you like you're the only man who truly understands her body. And I'm going to share that with you today. Right, I'm Dr. Amelia Wright, and I've been a urologist and sexual health specialist for over 25 years. I've worked with thousands of men, many in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, helping them understand female pleasure in ways that transform their intimate relationships. What I'm about to share isn't some gimmick or complicated tantric ritual. It's a science-backed technique called the start-stop method, sometimes known as edging, and when applied properly to oral pleasure, it creates waves of arousal that build into the kind of release most women rarely experience. This works. I've seen it change relationships, rebuild confidence, and bring couples closer than they've been in decades. Now, before we dive in, here's the biggest mistake I see men make. You rush straight to the most sensitive spot and go at it like you're in some sort of race. But here's what you need to understand about female anatomy. The clitoris has over 8,000 nerve endings, more than anywhere else in the human body. When you go straight there with intensity, it's not pleasurable, it's overwhelming, sometimes even painful. Her body needs time, rhythm, and anticipation far more than speed or pressure. Whilst men often respond quickly to direct stimulation, women's arousal builds in layers, like climbing a mountain rather than sprinting upstairs. If you rush, you short-circuit the entire process. If you pace yourself with patience, that's when the fireworks happen. Let me tell you about one of my patients. We'll call him Robert. He was 64, came to see me after years of frustration. He said, "Dr. Wright, I try. I really do try. But she either gets bored or I burn out before she gets anywhere." We worked on his technique using this start-stop method, and within 2 months, he was absolutely chuffed. His wife told him it was the best intimacy they'd had in 30 years. That's the power of understanding her biology and working with it, not against it. So let's break this down into 3 essential steps. Think of this as your roadmap to becoming the lover she brags about to her friends. Step 1. Set the stage for comfort. Now, this might sound obvious, but I can't tell you how many men skip this bit. If you can't breathe easily, if your jaw starts aching after 3 minutes, or if she's twisted into some awkward position, neither of you will last long enough for real magic to happen. Biologically speaking, arousal is like climbing that mountain I mentioned. If the climber keeps slipping because the ground's unstable, she never reaches the summit. Comfort for both of you creates steady footing. Here's what you do. Put a pillow or 2 under her hips. This tilts her pelvis, giving you better access and increasing her sensitivity. Support yourself properly. If you're kneeling, put a cushion under your knees. If the bed's too high, have her move to the edge so you can sit in a chair. Trust me, your back and knees will thank you, especially if you're not 25 anymore. Keep your jaw relaxed and loose. Breathe through your nose and settle in. This isn't a sprint, it's a proper marathon. When she sees you're comfortable and in control, she relaxes. And that relaxation is absolutely crucial for her arousal. Tension is the enemy of orgasm. Step 2. The patient buildup. Right, this is where most blokes get it wrong. They dive straight for the clitoris, thinking it's like pressing a button on a remote. But remember what I said about those 8,000 nerve endings. Too much too soon is overwhelming. Instead, you build up gradually. Think of it like warming up an engine. The more gradual the heat, the smoother and more powerful the performance. Here's how you do it properly. Start well away from the clitoris. Kiss, lick, and tease her inner thighs. This area is packed with nerve endings that prime her entire body. Take your time here. There's no rush. Circle around her labia with soft kisses and gentle licks. Make it slow and teasing. Don't even touch the clitoris yet. When you do finally introduce direct contact, use the flat of your tongue, not the tip. Broad, soft strokes from bottom to top. Slow and steady. If you need to, count your strokes in your head to keep the rhythm consistent. 1 stroke every 2 seconds is a good pace to start. Now here's something specific that many of you have asked about. What actual patterns work best? Let me give you 3 techniques that are particularly effective. First, the figure 8 pattern. Once she's properly warmed up, trace a figure 8 around her clitoris and the entrance to her vagina. Keep it slow and continuous. Second, the alphabet method. Seriously, trace letters with your tongue. It keeps your movements varied and interesting, and it stops you from falling into a monotonous pattern. Start with A, see how far through the alphabet you get. Third, the pulse and hold technique. Give 3 quick light flicks with the tip of your tongue, then 1 long, slow stroke with the flat of your tongue. Repeat this pattern. The variation in sensation is incredibly arousing for her. Throughout this build-up, pay attention to her breathing, the way her thighs tense, how her hands grip the sheets. These are your cues. And here's something crucial. Use your hands as well. Gently spread her labia to give yourself better access. Or place 1 hand flat on her lower belly, applying slight downward pressure. This increases internal sensation. You can also slide 1 finger inside her, curving it upward toward her belly button to find that G-spot, whilst your tongue continues its work on her clitoris. This combination of internal and external stimulation is incredibly powerful. Right, step 3. And this is the game changer, the start-stop method itself. This is where you take her to the edge of orgasm, then pull back, let her settle, then build her up again. Each cycle compounds her arousal, so when she finally does climax, it's not just strong, it's absolutely earth-shattering. Biologically, this technique allows her nervous system to build higher and higher levels of arousal with each wave. Blood flow increases, muscle tension grows, sensitivity peaks. Emotionally, the anticipation drives her wild. It's the difference between sipping water when you're slightly thirsty versus finally drinking when you're absolutely parched. That release becomes unforgettable. Here's exactly how to time it. Watch for her telltale signs. Her breathing quickens and becomes more shallow. Her thighs start to clamp around your head. Her belly tightens. Her hands grip you. The sheets, the headboard, anything. She might start making more noise or moving her hips. These signs mean she's close. Right before she crosses that line into orgasm, and you'll feel this moment, it's unmistakable. Ease off. Don't stop completely. That would be cruel and frustrating. Instead, shift it to kissing her inner thighs, her hip bones, or her lower belly. Or keep your mouth there, but switch to incredibly gentle, barely there licks. Let her settle for about 20 to 30 seconds. You'll feel her body relax slightly, her breathing slow down just a bit. Then, and here's the important bit, resume the exact same pattern that got her to that edge. Same pressure, same rhythm, same technique. Take her right back up to that peak. Do this cycle 2 or 3 times. On the 3rd or 4th build-up, don't stop. Stay consistent and let her go over the edge. Maintain that same rhythm and pressure as she climaxes. Don't change anything. Don't speed up. Don't press harder. Just stay steady and let the orgasm roll through her. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, what if I have physical limitations? One gentleman asked me about being tongue-tied. Another worries his tongue isn't long enough. Here's the truth. The length of your tongue matters far less than your patience and consistency. If your tongue doesn't stick out far, use more of the flat part and adjust your position so you're closer. If you have jaw issues, take breaks between cycles. That's what the start-stop method is perfect for. Use your fingers more during those rest periods. There's no single right way to do this. It's about adapting the principles to your situation. Another question I get asked constantly is, how do I know when to stop during each cycle? Right, here's a more specific guide. When you see her belly start to contract rhythmically, that's usually about 10 to 15 seconds before orgasm. That's your cue to ease off. If her thighs suddenly lock tight around your head, you're right at the edge. You've got maybe 5 seconds. If she starts vocalizing in a more intense way, or her breathing becomes very rapid and shallow, same thing, you're very close. With practice, you'll learn her specific pattern. Every woman's a bit different, but these signs are pretty universal. And what about the up and down versus swirling question? Honestly, it depends on the woman and the moment. During the build-up phase, variation is good, so alternate between vertical strokes, horizontal movements, and circular patterns. But once you've found what's working, what's getting her toward that peak, stick with it. Consistency is more important than variety at that crucial moment. If an up and down motion is what's working, don't suddenly switch to swirling just for the sake of it. Save the variation for the build-up and the rest periods between cycles. Now, I want to address something specifically for the older gentlemen watching this, and I know many of you are in your 50s, 60s, 70s or beyond. Some of you might be thinking, Dr. Wright, I'm too old for this. My stamina isn't what it used to be. I can't keep this up for ages. Let me tell you something I've learned over 25 years in this field. Age is absolutely not the end of your ability to give pleasure. In fact, many women specifically say that older men make the best lovers. Do you know why? Because you've learnt patience. You're not in some mad rush to the finish line. You actually care about the experience, not just the destination. You pay attention. You notice the small cues. That maturity is incredibly attractive and arousing to women. And here's the other thing. With proper pacing, with this start-stop method, you don't need the stamina of a 25-year-old. You're not going continuously for 20 minutes. You're building in natural breaks, rest periods where you kiss her thighs, where you let her breathe, where your jaw gets a rest. Those breaks are built into the technique. What you need is consistency during the active phases, not endless endurance. And consistency, that's ageless, mate. If anything, older men are often better at maintaining a steady rhythm because they've got the patience and discipline that comes with experience. I've had patients in their 70s tell me this method gave them more confidence in the bedroom than they'd had in decades. One gentleman, 68 years old, told me, Dr. Wright, I thought my days of being a great lover were behind me. But this technique, it's made me feel 40 again. Not in my body, but in my ability to please my wife. That's the power of understanding, rather than just trying harder. So let me recap how you put all this into practice. Tonight, or the next time you're intimate, try this. Set everything up for comfort. Get those pillows sorted. Position yourself properly. Make sure you can breathe easily, and you're not going to get cramp. Pace yourself on the build-up. Spend twice as long as you think you should on the warm-up phase. Kiss her thighs, tease around the area, work your way gradually to more direct contact. Use those patterns I mentioned, the figure 8, the alphabet method, the pulse and hold. See what gets the best response from her. Apply the start-stop method. Take her to the edge, let her settle, build her back up. Do this 2 or 3 times before you let her finally climax. And during that final climb, stay absolutely consistent. Don't change your rhythm, your pressure, your pattern. Just maintain it steadily. One more crucial thing. Communication. I know some men feel awkward about this, but a simple, "Does this feel good?" or "more like this," or softer, is incredibly helpful. You don't need to turn it into an entire interview, but those small check-ins keep her engaged, make her feel heard, and give you real-time feedback. Some women are vocal and will tell you exactly what they want. Others are quieter, and you'll need to read their body language more. Either way, paying attention to her responses is essential. And gentlemen, here's something else I want you to understand. This isn't just about technique, it's about presence. It's about showing her that you're a man who listens, who notices the small details, who's confident enough not to rush. In a world where everything's fast-paced and instant, the man who takes his time, who savors the experience, who treats intimacy as a journey rather than a destination, that man stands out. That's the man women talk about, the man they feel truly connected to. Before we finish, I want you to know that if you're watching this and thinking, I'm not sure I can do this, or what if I mess it up? That's completely normal. Nobody becomes brilliant at this overnight. It takes practice, communication with your partner, and a willingness to learn. But the fact that you're here, watching this, wanting to improve, that already puts you ahead of most men. That shows you care about her pleasure, not just your own. And that attitude, that genuine desire to please her, is honestly half the battle. The technique I've shared today gives you the roadmap, but your intention, your presence, your patience, that's what makes it truly work. So here's what I want you to do. Give this a try. Set up properly, build slowly, edge her 2 or 3 times, then let her release. Notice what happens, not just in her body, but in the way she looks at you afterwards, in the way she touches you, in the connection you feel. That's when you'll know you've given her something rare and precious. Real, deep, connected pleasure. If you found this helpful, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and just write start/stop so I know you're going to try this technique. And tell me, what's one thing you wish you'd learnt about women's pleasure 20 years ago? I read every comment, and I often get ideas for future videos from your questions. Next week, I'll be covering the most common mistakes men make that completely kill arousal, even when they think they're doing everything right. You won't want to miss that one. Make sure you subscribe so you don't. Remember, you're not too old, you're not past it, you're not past your prime. With the right knowledge and approach, you can create intimacy, pleasure, and connection that's better now than it ever was. I'm Dr. Amelia Wright, and I'll see you in the next video.